The phone rings, jolting me from sleep. It's late, the kind of late where only bad news calls. I squint at the screen, my daughter's name glaring back at me. Dad! Her voice is shaky, almost hysterical. I, I need you to come home. Now! Fear tightens in my chest. What's wrong? Are you hurt? No, I'm not hurt, but you need to see something. She's crying now, her words almost incoherent. It's about Mom. My wife. My heart thuds harder as I hang up and throw on clothes, my mind racing. I've always been a man who prides himself on being steady, reliable. A successful career, a stable home. We've had our ups and downs, but I never thought our marriage was in any real trouble. As I drive, the city lights blur past, my thoughts darting between possibilities. Maybe it's a misunderstanding, a silly fight. My wife Anna is a beautiful woman, still drawing eyes wherever we go, but she's always been devoted, or so I believed. I rush into the house, finding my daughter Emma, pale and trembling on the couch. She's clutching Anna's laptop like it's a bomb ready to explode. What happened? I demand, my voice rough with the tension coiling inside me. She hands me the laptop without a word. I sit beside her, my heart in my throat as I open the screen. The image that appears freezes me in place. My wife, wrapped around another man, their bodies entangled in ways that are painfully familiar. My breath catches, stomach lurching. I know him. His face is clear, unmistakable. A close friend, someone I've trusted for years. The room seems to tilt. I feel like I've been punched in the gut, winded by the sheer weight of betrayal. Emma is crying silently beside me, and I don't know what to say to her, to either of us. My marriage, my life, all the trust I've placed in Anna, in this man, it shatters in an instant. The photos are explicit, leaving no room for doubt. They've been at this for months, maybe longer. Each click reveals a new angle, a new betrayal. The things they did, the things she let him do, were once meant only for me. How could she do this? Emma's voice breaks through the fog in my head. I can't answer. I'm not sure I even want to know. I'm numb, but beneath it, something darker stirs, rage pure and blinding. It's all I can do not to smash the laptop against the wall. Instead, I set it down carefully, like handling something toxic, and turn to my daughter. Her eyes are wide, scared, looking at me for answers I don't have. We need to leave, I say, my voice cold, unfamiliar even to myself. Pack your things. Are we coming back? I don't know. Everything I thought I knew has been obliterated in these few minutes. I don't think we'll ever come back to this life. Not after what we've seen, not after what I feel now. No, I finally answer, my voice a low growl. We're not. Emma's crying jolts me out of my shock, pulling me back into the present. I can't afford to fall apart. She needs me. I pull her close, wrapping my arms around her, and she clings to me like she's drowning. Her body shakes with sobs, and I feel a surge of rage. Not just at Anna, but at myself. How did I miss this? How did I let my family fall apart without even noticing? We're leaving, Anna, I say, my voice hard, devoid of any emotion. Get your things, we're going now. She looks up at me, eyes wide and red-rimmed. Where are we going? Away from here. We'll figure it out later. Just pack what you need. Emma doesn't argue, just nods and stumbles upstairs to her room. I stay behind, my hands clenching and unclenching as I stare at the laptop. The photos are still there, frozen on the screen. My wife's face, her body in the arms of another man, a man I called a friend. The betrayal cuts deep, like a knife twisted in my gut. I force myself to move. I grab a duffel bag from the closet and start throwing in clothes, my movements mechanical. Disconnected. My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts, none of them making sense. Why? How long has this been going on? What else don't I know? In the living room, the laptop still sits on the coffee table, the image seared into my brain. I can't leave it like this. I grab the HDMI cable and plug it into the TV. The photo fills the screen, larger than life, as if it's mocking me. I leave it there, A final message for Anna when she comes home. Let her see what she's done. Emma comes downstairs with her backpack, her eyes downcast. She doesn't ask any more questions, and I'm grateful. I don't have answers. We leave the house in silence, locking the door behind us as if we're shutting away our old lives. We drive in silence too. The streets are nearly empty, the city asleep while my world collapses. I head toward the highway, not sure where I'm going. I just need to get away. I glance at Emma, her face pale in the glow of passing streetlights. She's too quiet, too still, and it scares me. Are you okay? I ask, even though I know it's a stupid question. Of course she's not okay. She doesn't answer at first, just stares out the window. Finally, she says, I can't believe she did this. I thought they were happy. I thought we were happy. The pain in her voice guts me. I reach over and squeeze her hand, but I can't find the words to comfort her. How do you explain something like this? How do you make sense of betrayal that cuts this deep? I pull into a hotel parking lot, the neon sign flickering above us. It's a dive, the kind of place you go when you don't want to be found. I pay for a room in cash, not trusting myself to use a credit card. Not yet. We need time to think, to figure out what comes next. Inside the room, Emma collapses onto the bed, exhaustion finally catching up with her. I sit on the edge, my head in my hands, trying to process everything that's happened. The images on the screen keep flashing in my mind, taunting me. I can't sleep. I lie there staring at the ceiling, listening to Emma's breathing as she finally drifts off. I'm too wired, too angry to even close my eyes. I replay every moment of my marriage, searching for the signs I missed. There must have been something, some clue that this was happening right under my nose, but I find nothing. Just the same hollow memories that now feel tainted, poisoned by her lies. By morning, I've made a decision. We can't stay in this city. I don't want to be anywhere near Anna or the life we had. It's all a lie now, a broken promise that I can't live with. We spend the next few days moving from one hotel to another, never staying in the same place twice. I can't shake the paranoia, the fear that she'll find us, that she'll try to explain, to justify what she's done. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see her face, to hear her voice, to know anything about her anymore. But she doesn't call. She doesn't text. There's a nothing, just silence. And that, more than anything, drives me insane. Does she even care that we're gone? Is she relieved that we left? That she doesn't have to deal with the fallout of her actions? I try to keep busy, taking Emma to see some sights, trying to distract her from the hell we're living, but it's no use. Every time I see her smile, it's forced, strained. She's not the same, and neither am I. We're broken, and I don't know how to fix it. The days blur together, each one as empty as the last. I keep waiting for the call, for Anna to reach out, to say something. But she doesn't. A week passes, then two. By the third week, I start to wonder if she even noticed we were gone. Then one night, as we're sitting in another nondescript hotel room, my phone buzzes. It's a text from a number I don't recognize. My heart skips a beat, and I open it with trembling hands. It's from her. The message is short, just a few words, but it sends a chill down my spine. We need to talk. That's it. Nothing more. No apology, no explanation. Just a demand, as if I owe her anything after what she's done. I stare at the screen, my mind racing. What does she want? Why now after all this time? I don't trust her, not anymore. But I can't ignore her either, not when she's finally broken her silence. I show the text to Emma, and she goes pale, her eyes wide with fear. Are you going to talk to her? I don't know what to say. Part of me wants to ignore it, to delete the message and pretend it never came. But another part of me, the part that needs answers, demands that I meet her, that I hear what she has to say, even if it tears me apart. I don't know, I admit, my voice raw. But I can't keep running forever. The next morning I reply to the text. I keep it simple, not wanting to give away too much. Where? Her response comes quickly, as if she's been waiting. She gives me an address, one I don't recognize in a part of town we never visited together. My stomach twists in knots. This doesn't feel right, but I can't back down now. I drive there alone, leaving Emma at the hotel with strict instructions not to leave. I can't risk her getting caught up in whatever this is. The address leads me to a rundown warehouse on the outskirts of the city. It's the kind of place where bad things happen, and my nerves are on edge as I park and get out of the car. I walk inside, my heart pounding in my chest. The place is dark, the only light coming from a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. And there she is, standing in the center of the room, looking as beautiful as ever, but with a hardness in her eyes that I've never seen before. "Anna," I say, my voice echoing in the empty space. She turns to face me, and for a moment, we just stare at each other. The tension between us is thick, almost suffocating. I don't know what to say, how to start this conversation, but she breaks the silence first. "You left," she says, her voice flat. "You just disappeared without a word." "What did you expect me to do?" I snap, the anger bubbling up again. "After what I saw, after what you did." She doesn't flinch, just looks at me with that same cold expression. "You don't understand." "Then explain it to me," I demand, because I've been trying to make sense of this, and nothing adds up. Why him? Why now? "Why did you throw everything away?" She sighs, looking down at her hands. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. None of this was supposed to happen." "Then what was supposed to happen?" I ask, my voice rising. "What's going on, Anna?" She looks up at me, and for the first time, I see a flicker of something in her eyes. Fear. "You're in danger," she says quietly. "We both are." The warehouse is cold, the damp air pressing in around me. Anna stands there, her eyes locked on mine, and for a moment, all I see is the woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew. But then the memory of those photos flashes through my mind, and the anger surges back. I want answers, but her cryptic words keep replaying in my head. "You're in danger, we both are." "What do you mean, danger?" I ask, my voice barely steady. "What the hell is going on, Anna?" She hesitates, her gaze flicking around the empty space as if expecting someone to jump out of the shadows. "It's complicated. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, but things spiraled out of control." "Stop with the vague bullshit," I snap, taking a step closer. "You owe me the truth." She takes a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly. "It started as an affair, yes, but it became something more. The man in the photos, he wasn't who you thought he was. He was involved in things, dangerous things." My mind races, trying to piece together what she's saying. "Dangerous how?" "He was mixed up with some very bad people," she whispers, her voice cracking. I didn't know at first, but by the time I found out, it was too late. They threatened me, told me I had to cooperate or they'd come after you, after Emma. The mention of my daughter's name sends a chill down my spine. "Why didn't you come to me?" "We could have gone to the police." "You don't understand," she says, shaking her head. "These people, they have connections everywhere. Going to the police would have only made things worse. I thought I could handle it, keep you both out of it. And look how well that turned out," I mutter, anger boiling just under the surface. "He's dead, Anna. Do you realize that? He's dead, and now I'm the one they're looking at." She flinches, her eyes widening. "Dead? No, that can't be." "Don't play dumb," I cut in, my voice harsh. "They found his body yesterday. The police think I killed him because of what I found. They think I was jealous." The color drains from her face and she stumbles back, her hand covering her mouth. No, that wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to leave, disappear. They promised me." "Who promised you?" I demand, grabbing her arm. "Who are you dealing with?" She looks at me, tears brimming in her eyes. "You need to leave now. Take Emma and disappear. It's not safe for you here." I'm losing my patience, the frustration clawing at me. "Not until you tell me what's going on. I need to know who I'm up against." Anna pulls away, wrapping her arms around herself like she's trying to keep from falling apart. "They're dangerous people, connected to organized crime. They use people, blackmail them, and when they're done, they get rid of them. That's what was going to happen to him. He was a loose end, and now they'll think you are too. A cold sweat breaks out on my skin. So what? I'm just supposed to run? Spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder? If you stay, they'll find you, she says, her voice trembling. They'll make sure you take the fall for everything, and Emma will be left alone. You can't let that happen. I stare at her, the reality of what she's saying sinking in. My wife, the woman I trusted with everything, has dragged us into something far beyond an affair. It's a nightmare, and I don't know how to wake up from it. Why did you meet me here? I ask, suspicion creeping into my voice. Why didn't you just tell me this from the start? I couldn't risk them finding out we talked, she says, glancing around nervously. I had to be sure it was safe, that no one was watching. They're everywhere, David. They have eyes and ears everywhere. My stomach twists. I can't tell if she's paranoid or if the threat is really as pervasive as she says, but either way, I can't ignore the danger. If what she's saying is true, then Emma and I are in more trouble than I ever imagined. Fine, I say, my voice hardening with resolve. I'll take Emma and go. But I'm not just going to run. I need to find a way to stop this, to get them off our backs for good. Anna's eyes fill with tears, and she reaches out to touch my arm. Please, just be careful. Don't underestimate them. They're ruthless. I pull away from her touch, the betrayal still too raw. I don't even know who they are, I say bitterly, but I'll figure it out. And when I do, I'm going to make sure they pay for what they've done. I leave the warehouse without looking back, my mind already spinning with what I need to do. I can't trust anyone now, not even Anna. She's too deep in this mess, and I can't be sure where her loyalties lie. But I know one thing. I have to protect Emma, no matter what. Back at the hotel, I find Emma sitting on the bed, her face pale and drawn. She looks up at me with wide, fearful eyes, and I feel a pang of guilt for dragging her into this nightmare. What happened? She asks, her voice small. Pack your things, I say, my voice tight. We're leaving. She doesn't ask any questions, just nods and starts throwing her clothes into her bag. I watch her, my heart aching at the fear she's trying so hard to hide. I've failed her, failed to keep her safe, and now we're on the run from something I barely understand. As we drive away from the hotel, I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched. Every car that passes us, every pedestrian we see, feels like a potential threat. I'm on edge, my senses heightened, scanning for danger at every turn. I need to figure out what Anna was involved in, who these people are, and how deep this goes. I can't just keep running blindly, hoping to stay one step ahead. I need information, leverage, something to fight back with. But where do I start? Anna's words keep replaying in my mind, the warning about their reach, their power. If they're really as connected as she says, then finding out the truth is going to be dangerous. But I don't have a choice. I can't let them control our lives, dictate our fate. I make a decision. I need to go back to the source, to the one person who might have answers, Anna. As much as I don't want to face her again, she's my only link to this shadowy world we've been thrust into. I need to know everything she knows, every detail, every name. Only then can I start to unravel this nightmare. But I also know I can't just trust her word. I need evidence, something concrete that can expose these people, protect us from whatever they have planned. I think back to the photos, to the secrets she kept from me, and I realize that if I'm going to survive this, I have to be smarter, more ruthless than I've ever been. Emma is quiet beside me, staring out the window as the city blurs past. I reach over and squeeze her hand, trying to offer some semblance of comfort, but I know it's not enough. We're in this together, and I have to be the one to get us out. As I drive, my mind is already working, planning my next move. I'll start by digging into Anna's past, her connections, everything she's hidden from me. I'll follow every lead, no matter how dangerous, until I have the answers I need. I glance at Emma, and my resolve hardens. I'll do whatever it takes to protect her, to keep her safe from the darkness that's closing in on us. even if it means facing my worst fears, confronting the people who want to destroy us. I'm not going down without a fight. Not this time. The next few days are a blur of research, phone calls, and dead ends. I track down old contacts, people who might know something about the world Anna has been pulled into. I dig through her emails, her financial records, looking for anything that could give me a clue. But every answer I find only leads to more questions. The man in the photos, the one she was involved with, was connected to a larger network, a web of corruption and that stretches far beyond anything I imagined. And now with him dead, I'm the one left holding the pieces, trying to figure out how to survive. I can feel the danger closing in, the noose tightening around us. And as I piece together the puzzle, I realize that Anna isn't the only one who's been hiding things. There are others involved, people I never would have suspected, and they're not going to let me walk away from this. I need to act fast before it's too late. But as I delve deeper into this world of lies and deceit, I start to wonder if I'll ever find a way out. The more I uncover, the more it becomes clear that this isn't just about an affair, or even about the man who's dead. It's about something much. The tension is unbearable as I piece together the fragmented truth about Anna's betrayal. It's no longer just about an affair. It's about survival, and right now, we're losing. I know I need to get ahead of this, but the noose is tightening fast. Anna's tangled web of deceit has pulled us into something I can barely comprehend. Organized crime, blackmail, murder. Everything is spiraling out of control, and I'm caught right in the middle. I sit in the dim light of another cheap hotel room, the weight of it all crushing down on me. Emma's asleep in the next bed, her breathing steady, but I know she's not at peace. Neither am I. My mind races through every conversation I've had with Anna, every lie she's told, trying to make sense of it. I feel like I'm losing my grip on reality, but I can't afford to fall apart. Not with Emma depending on me. The phone vibrates on the nightstand, shattering the silence. I grab it, heart pounding, and see an unknown number. For a moment I hesitate, my finger hovering over the screen. But then I answer, bringing the phone to my ear. Hello? There's a pause, then a voice I don't recognize. You've been looking into things that don't concern you, David. The voice is low, smooth, and dripping with menace. My blood runs cold, but I force myself to stay calm. Who is this? Someone who can make your life very difficult if you don't back off, the voice replies. Stop digging. Forget about Anna, forget about everything, and maybe you'll get out of this alive. Where's Anna, I demand, my grip tightening on the phone. What have you done to her? There's a dark chuckle on the other end. She's where she needs to be, just like you should be. Consider this your last warning. The line goes dead, leaving me with nothing but the pounding of my heart and the cold sweat on my skin. I stare at the phone, the threat hanging in the air. They're watching me, and they know exactly what I've been doing. I feel exposed, vulnerable, and more terrified than ever. But I also feel a spark of defiance. I can't just back down. I have to find a way to protect Emma, to end this nightmare. I step outside the hotel room, needing to clear my head. The night air is cool, a slight breeze rustling the leaves of the trees that line the parking lot. I light a cigarette, the first one in years, and inhale deeply, letting the nicotine steady my nerves. I don't know what my next move is, but I know I can't afford any more mistakes. I have to stay one step ahead of these people, whoever they are. As I stand there, lost in thought, a car pulls into the lot. I watch it cautiously, my hand instinctively moving to the small knife I've started carrying in my pocket. The car stops a few spaces away and the driver's side door opens. A woman steps out, her figure illuminated by the overhead light. My breath catches in my throat as she turns and I see her face. It's Anna. She walks toward me, her expression a mix of desperation and fear. I don't move, don't say anything as she approaches. My mind races, trying to process what I'm seeing. She's supposed to be in danger, supposed to be running from these people. So why is she here now? David, she says softly, stopping a few feet away. Her voice is shaky, her eyes pleading. I had to see you. There's so much you don't understand. I understand enough, I reply, my voice cold. You lied to me. You put us in danger. What more do I need to know? Tears well up in her eyes and she takes a step closer. I did it to protect you, to protect Emma. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice, I snap, the anger boiling over. You chose to cheat, to drag us into this mess. Now we're running for our lives because of you. I never wanted this, she says, her voice breaking. I got in over my head, and I didn't know how to get out. They made threats, David, real threats. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, but I don't let it show. I can't trust her, not anymore. What do you want from me, Anna? Why are you here? I need your help, she says, desperation seeping into her tone. I can't do this alone. They're closing in on me, and I don't know how much longer I can keep them at bay. But together, maybe we can find a way out. I stare at her, trying to gauge her sincerity. But after everything that's happened, I don't know what to believe. Part of me wants to help her, to save her from whatever hell she's found herself in. But another part of me wonders if this is just another manipulation, another lie to get what she wants. What exactly are you asking for? I ask, my voice guarded. She hesitates, then takes another step closer. I need you to trust me, to work with me. We can bring these people down, but I can't do it without you. Her proximity sends a wave of conflicting emotions crashing through me. I feel the familiar pull of her presence, the allure that's always been there, even now. But I also feel the sting of betrayal, the cold reminder of what she's done. I don't know if I can separate the two. I don't even know who these people are, I say, forcing myself to stay focused. You keep talking in circles, but you haven't told me anything useful. They're connected, she says, lowering her voice as if afraid of being overheard. To politicians, to law enforcement, even to the judiciary. They control everything from the shadows, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep their secrets hidden. The man I was with, he was just a pawn. They used him to get to me, and now they're using you. Using me, I repeat, my mind reeling. For what? To take the fall, she says, her eyes locking onto mine. They needed someone to pin everything on, someone who would draw attention away from them. That's why they're after you. They want you out of the picture so they can continue operating without interference. My blood turns to ice as her words sink in. It all makes sense now. The threats, the surveillance, the sudden interest from law enforcement. I'm not just collateral damage, I'm a scapegoat. And if they succeed, Emma will be left alone, vulnerable and unprotected. So what do we do? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. How do we stop them? Anna takes a deep breath, and I can see the fear in her eyes. We need leverage. Something that can expose them, something they can't afford to have come to light. I've been trying to gather information, but it's dangerous. They're watching every move I make. Leverage, I echo, my mind racing. What kind of leverage? There's a file, she says, her voice trembling. It's encrypted, hidden somewhere. They think no one will find it. But I know where it is. If we can get it, we can use it to bring them down, to negotiate our way out. My instincts scream at me to run, to take Emma and disappear before this gets any worse. But I know it's too late for that. They've already marked us, and there's no escaping their reach. The only way out is through. Where's the file? I ask, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. It's at a safe house, she says, her eyes locked on mine. But it's heavily guarded. We'll need to be careful. Of course it is, I mutter, running a hand through my hair. And once we get it, then what? We just hand it over and hope they let us go? It's not that simple, she says, a hint of panic in her voice. They won't just let us walk away. We'll need to make sure we have a plan, an escape route. Then we make a plan, I say, my mind already shifting into survival mode. But you need to promise me something, Anna. No more lies. No more half-truths. If we're going to do this, I need to know everything. She nods, tears spilling down her cheeks. I promise, David, no more lies. I stare at her for a long moment, searching her face for any sign of deceit. But all I see is fear, regret, and something else. Something that tugs at my heart despite everything she's done. Maybe it's hope, or maybe it's the last remnants of the love I once had for her. Either way, I know I'm in too deep to turn back now. "We'll go in the morning," I say, my voice firm. "But if this goes sideways, if there's any sign of danger, we pull out. I won't risk Emma's life." "I understand," she says, her voice barely a whisper. I nod, my resolve hardening. This is it, the moment of truth. I don't know if I can trust her, but I don't have a choice. We're in this together, for better or worse. The morning sun filters through the dingy curtains of the motel room, casting a dull light over the worn furniture. I haven't slept. My mind has been running through every possible scenario, every potential trap. Anna is still asleep beside me, her body curled into a tight ball, as if she's trying to shield herself from the world. I watch her, feeling a mix of emotions I can't quite untangle. Love, hate, fear, regret. It all swirls together, leaving me more confused than ever. I know what I have to do, though. There's no turning back now. We need that file, and we need it today. The sooner we get it, the sooner we can start planning our escape. I've already decided that once this is over, once we're free of these people, I'll take Emma and disappear for good. No more looking over my shoulder, no more wondering who's watching us. We'll start fresh somewhere far away where no one knows our names. Anna stirs, her eyes fluttering open. She looks at me, and for a moment, there's a softness in her gaze that makes me remember the woman I fell in love with. But then the reality of our situation comes crashing back, and the softness hardens into determination. "Are you ready?" she asks, her voice still groggy from sleep. I nod, forcing myself to stand up. "Let's get this over with." We don't talk much as we get ready. There's nothing left to say that hasn't already been said. We both know the stakes, and we both know what we have to do. The tension is thick, almost suffocating, as we gather our things and head out the door. I glance back at the motel room one last time, knowing that once we leave, there's no coming back. It's a strange feeling, like closing the door on one life and stepping into another, more dangerous one. The drive to the safe house is quiet, the silence only broken by the occasional directions from Anna. She's tense, her hands gripping the steering wheel, like it's the only thing keeping her grounded. I can see the fear in her eyes, the way her breath catches every time we pass a car or see someone on the street. She's scared, and it's not just for herself. She's scared for me, for Emma, for what's going to happen if this goes wrong. "Are you sure this is going to work?" I ask, breaking the silence. "It has to," she replies, her voice flat. "It's the only way." I don't like the sound of that, but I don't have a better plan. We're running out of time, and I need to trust that Anna knows what she's doing. I need to trust her, even though every instinct in my body is screaming at me not to. We pull up to the safe house, a nondescript building in a rundown part of town. It looks abandoned, the windows boarded up, the paint peeling from the walls, but I know better. There are people inside watching us, waiting to see what we'll do. I can feel their eyes on us, the weight of their gaze making my skin crawl. Anna turns off the car and looks at me, her expression grim. "Stay close to me. Don't do anything unless I tell you to." I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. "Okay." We step out of the car, the sound of our footsteps echoing in the empty street. My heart is pounding in my chest, my hands trembling as I follow Anna to the door. She knocks twice, then once more, a coded pattern that I assume lets them know we're here. The door creaks open, and a man steps out, his face obscured by the shadow of the doorway. "Who's this?" he asks, his voice low and rough. "He's with me," Anna replies, her tone steady. "He's part of the plan." The man grunts, his eyes narrowing as he looks me up and down. I can feel the hostility radiating off him, the way his hand hovers near his waistband, where I'm sure he has a gun tucked away. "Fine," he finally says, stepping aside to let us in. "But if he screws up, it's on you." Anna doesn't respond, just nods and walks inside. I follow her, my heart racing as we step into the dark, musty interior. The air is thick with the smell of mildew and something else, something metallic and sharp that makes my stomach turn. I can hear voices coming from the other room, low and murmuring, like they're discussing something they don't want us to hear. We're led into a small, dimly lit room with a single table in the center. A laptop sits on the table, its screen dark. There are three other men in the room, all of them watching us with cold, calculating eyes. I can feel the tension in the air, the way they're all waiting for something to go wrong. "Where's the file?" Anna asks, her voice cutting through the silence like a knife. One of the men steps forward, his expression unreadable. "It's here," he says, gesturing to the laptop. "But we're not just going to hand it over. We need something in return." I tense up, glancing at Anna. She's calm, too calm, and that worries me. What has she promised these people? What has she agreed to in exchange for our lives? "We've already discussed this," Anna says, her tone icy. "You get what you want when I get the file." The man smirks, crossing his arms over his chest. "That's not how this works, sweetheart. We need insurance. Something to make sure you don't screw us over." I can feel the situation spiraling out of control, the tension ratcheting up with every passing second. I want to grab Anna and get the hell out of there, but I know we can't. We need that file, and we're not leaving without it. "What do you want?" I ask, my voice steady, despite the fear clawing at my insides. The man turns to me, his eyes narrowing. "We want you," he says, a cruel smile spreading across his face. "You're going to stay here while Anna takes the file. Once we're sure she's not going to double-cross us, we'll let you go." Anna stiffens beside me, her eyes flashing with anger. "That wasn't the deal." "Deals change," the man says, shrugging. "Take it or leave it." I look at Anna, seeing the panic in her eyes. She knows this is a trap, that they're not planning to let either of us walk out of here alive. But what choice do we have? We need that file, and if staying here is the only way to get it, then I'll do it. "Fine," I say, forcing the words out. "I'll stay." Anna's eyes widen, but she doesn't argue. She knows there's no point. She turns to the man, her expression hardening. "Give me the file." The man nods to one of his associates, who steps forward and opens the laptop. He types in a few commands, and the screen lights up, revealing a file directory. He clicks on a folder, and the screen fills with rows of encrypted files, each one labeled with a series of numbers and letters that mean nothing to me. "This is it," the man says, turning the laptop toward Anna. "Download it, and then we'll talk." Anna takes a deep breath and steps forward, pulling a flash drive from her pocket. She plugs it into the laptop and starts the download, her fingers trembling as she watches the progress bar slowly fill. I can feel the weight of the men's stares on me, the way they're all watching, waiting for any sign of trouble. The seconds stretch into minutes, the tension in the room so thick it's suffocating. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest, my palms slick with sweat. I keep my eyes on the men, ready to react if anything goes wrong. Finally, the download completes, and Anna pulls the flash drive from the laptop. She holds it up, showing it to the men. "It's done." The man who seems to be in charge nods, a satisfied smirk on his face. "Good. Now, about your husband." Anna's eyes narrow, her jaw tightening. "You said you'd let him go." "I said we'd talk," the man corrects her, his tone dripping with condescension. "And we will. But first, there's one more thing we need." My stomach drops. I knew it. I knew this was going too smoothly. They're not planning to let us walk away, not after everything we've seen. "What do you want?" Anna asks, her voice cold. The man smiles, his eyes gleaming with malice. "We want you to do a little job for us, something to prove your loyalty." Anna's face goes pale, her eyes widening in horror. "What kind of job?" "You'll find out soon enough," the man says, his smile widening. "But don't worry, it's nothing you can't handle. After all, you've already proven yourself to be quite resourceful." I can see the fear in Anna's eyes, the way her hands are trembling as she holds the flash drive. She knows we're in too deep, that there's no way out without playing their game. And I know it too. But what choice do we have? If we refuse, they'll kill us both. If we agree, we might stand a chance, however slim. Fine. The air is thick with tension as I stare at the man across the table. He's the last person I need to talk to, the final loose end in this twisted mess. He's calm, too calm, and that puts me on edge. My hands are sweating, my heart racing, but I can't afford to show any weakness. Not now, when everything is on the line. I know you've been looking into things, he says, his voice smooth, almost casual. But you need to understand, some things are better left buried. I lean back in my chair, keeping my face neutral. And if I don't? He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Then you'll regret it. I can guarantee that. This is the man who's been pulling the strings, the one who orchestrated the whole thing. The affair, the blackmail, the murder. It all leads back to him. I've spent weeks tracking him down, following every lead, digging through every piece of evidence until I finally found him. And now that I'm here, face to face with the man who ruined my life, I feel a cold rage building inside me. I'm not backing down, I say, my voice steady. You took everything from me. Now it's your turn. His smile fades, replaced by a look of mild annoyance. You're in over your head, David. You're not the first person to think they could take me down, and you won't be the last. But let me give you some advice. Walk away while you still can. I lean forward, locking eyes with him. You don't get to give me advice. You don't get to tell me what to do. I'm not walking away, and I'm not backing down. You're going to pay for what you did. He sighs as if I'm nothing more than a minor inconvenience. You're making a mistake, but if that's how you want to play it, so be it. I know I'm playing a dangerous game. He has the power, the connections, the resources to make me disappear without a trace. But I also know that I have something he doesn't, a reason to fight. Everything he's done has led to this moment, and I'm not going to let him win. I want you to leave my daughter out of this, I say, my voice cold. She's innocent. She doesn't deserve to be dragged into your mess. He raises an eyebrow, as if considering my request. And what makes you think I care about your daughter? Because if anything happens to her, I'll make sure everyone knows it was you, I say, my voice deadly serious. I've already made arrangements. If I go missing, if she goes missing, everything I've found gets released to the public. You won't be able to hide. His expression hardens, and I can see the calculation in his eyes. He knows I'm not bluffing, that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to protect Emma. But I also know he's not going to let me walk away without a fight. You're playing with fire, he says, his voice low and dangerous, and you're going to get burned. I stand up, my hands clenched into fists. Maybe. But I'm not afraid of you. I turn and walk out of the room, my heart pounding in my chest. I know this isn't over, that he's not going to let me go that easily. But I also know I've rattled him, that I've planted a seed of doubt in his mind, and that's enough for now. As I step out into the cool night air, I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. The weight of everything that's happened, everything I've been through, is crushing down on me. But I can't afford to break down. Not yet. There's still too much at stake. I head back to the motel, my mind racing with everything that needs to be done. I need to get Emma out of here, out of the city, out of the country if I can. We need to disappear, to start over somewhere far away where no one can find us. But I also know that running isn't enough. I need to finish this, to make sure that man can't hurt us, or anyone else, again. When I reach the motel, I find Anna waiting for me. She's pacing the room, her face pale, her eyes wide with fear. She looks up when I walk in, and I can see the relief wash over her. "Did you find him?" she asks, her voice trembling. I nod, closing the door behind me. "Yeah, I found him." "And?" She looks at me, her expression desperate. "What did he say?" I take a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "He's not going to stop. He thinks he's untouchable, that he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. But I made it clear that if anything happens to us, everything gets exposed." She nods, but I can see the fear in her eyes. "And do you think that will stop him?" "No," I admit, my voice grim. But it might buy us some time. She sits down on the edge of the bed, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. What do we do now? We need to leave, I say, my voice firm. We need to get Emma and disappear. But first I need to make sure he can't come after us. She looks up at me, her eyes wide with fear. How? I have a plan, I say, even though I'm not sure if that's true. I'm grasping at straws, trying to find a way out of this mess. But I know one thing for sure. I'm not going to let him win. Not after everything he's done. We spend the next few hours packing up our things, making arrangements to leave. I make a few calls, reaching out to contacts who might be able to help us disappear. It's a risky move, but I don't have a choice. We're running out of time, and I need to do whatever it takes to protect Emma. As the sun starts to rise, I sit down at the motel's small desk and start writing out everything I know. Every detail, every name, every piece of evidence I've gathered. I write it all down, sealing it in an envelope with instructions to send it to the press if anything happens to me. It's a last-ditch effort, a final act of defiance against the man who's trying to destroy us. When I'm finished, I place the envelope in a safe place, somewhere Anna and Emma won't find it. I don't want them to know what I'm planning, not yet. They're already scared enough, and I don't want to burden them with the knowledge of what I might have to do. I look over at Anna, who's sitting on the bed, her eyes red from crying. She's broken, just like I am, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to put the pieces back together. But right now, that doesn't matter. All that matters is keeping Emma safe, making sure she doesn't get caught in the crossfire of this nightmare. David, Anna says, her voice barely above a whisper, do you think we'll ever be safe again? I don't know how to answer her. I want to tell her yes, that everything will be okay, that we'll get through this and come out stronger on the other side. But I can't lie to her, not after everything we've been through. I don't know, I say, my voice cracking. But we have to try. She nods, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry, David, for everything. I never meant for any of this to happen. I sit down beside her, taking her hand in mine. I know, I say, even though part of me still resents her for what she's done. But right now I need her to be strong, to help me get through this. We're in this together, whether we like it or not. As the first rays of sunlight start to filter through the curtains, I realize that this might be the last time we're together like this. The last time we have a moment of peace before the storm hits. And I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing for sure. We're going to have to fight for it. Come on, I say, squeezing her hand. We need to get going. We gather our things, moving in a daze as we prepare to leave. Every step feels heavy, like we're walking through quicksand, but we keep moving forward. We don't have a choice. We're running out of time, and the clock is ticking down. As we load the car and prepare to drive away, I take one last look at the motel, at the place that's been our refuge for the past few days. It's a grim reminder of how far we've fallen, of how much we've lost. But it's also a reminder that we're still here, still fighting, still trying to survive. I start the car and pull out of the parking lot, my heart pounding in my chest. We don't have a destination, just a vague plan to keep moving until we're safe. But as I drive away, leaving the motel behind, I can't shake the feeling that we're driving towards something even more dangerous, something we can't outrun. And as the road stretches out ahead of us, I know that this isn't over, not by a long shot. The shadows of the past are still. I sit alone in the small apartment, the shadows of the past few months looming over me like a dark cloud. The place is quiet, almost too quiet, and it gives me too much time to think. I've spent countless hours replaying everything in my mind, the lies, the betrayals, the danger that crept into our lives and nearly destroyed us. But what haunts me the most is the choice I had to make, the choice that changed everything. Anna's gone. After the final confrontation, after the truth came out about her involvement in the criminal network, she made her own decision. She knew there was no going back, no undoing the damage she'd caused. She left, disappearing into the night, leaving me to pick up the pieces. A part of me wanted to go after her, to try and save her from whatever fate she was running toward. But I couldn't. I had to let her go. Emma and I are trying to rebuild, but it's not easy. The trust that was shattered between us is hard to repair, and every day feels like a struggle to move forward. She knows more than I ever wanted her to about the darkness that people are capable of, about the secrets that can tear families apart. I see it in her eyes, the way she looks at me, like she's searching for the father she used to know, but can't quite find him. We've moved to a new city, somewhere far away from the place where it all began. I've changed our names, erased our past as much as I could, but I know the scars are still there. I see them in the way Emma flinches when a stranger gets too close, in the way she keeps to herself, as if trusting anyone could bring the whole nightmare crashing down again. I can't blame her. I feel the same way. The paranoia lingers, a constant companion that whispers in my ear, telling me not to let my guard down, not to trust too easily. I don't sleep well. Every noise in the night sends a jolt of fear through me, and I find myself lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if we'll ever really be safe. The truth about Anna's actions still weighs on me. The final twist, the revelation that she had been manipulated from the start, used as a pawn in a game much bigger than either of us, was almost too much to bear. She thought she was protecting us, but in the end, she was just another victim, caught in a web of deceit that went deeper than I ever imagined. I've tried to forgive her, but I'm not sure if I ever really will. The pain is too fresh, the wounds too deep. But I know I have to try for Emma's sake, if not for my own. We can't keep living in the past, letting it control our lives. We have to find a way to move forward, to build something new out of the wreckage. There are moments when I catch a glimpse of the life we used to have, a flicker of happiness that feels almost foreign now. Emma will laugh at something on TV, or we'll sit down to a quiet dinner together, and for a brief second, it feels like we're normal again. But then the shadows creep back in, and I remember that nothing will ever be the same. As much as I want to believe we can start over, I know the past will always be with us. It's a part of who we are now, a dark chapter in our lives that we can't erase, no matter how far we run. But I also know that we can't let it define us. We have to find a way to live with it, to keep moving forward, even when it feels impossible. I look out the window, watching the city below as the sun sets, casting long shadows across the streets. There's a sense of finality in the air, like the end of a long, painful journey. But there's also a sense of uncertainty, a feeling that the story isn't quite over yet. There are still questions that linger, still doubts that haunt me. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I can't keep looking back. As I sit here, reflecting on everything that's happened, I realize that I'm not the same person I was when this all began. I've been changed, shaped by the choices I had to make, by the pain I had to endure. I'm harder now, more guarded, but I'm also more determined. I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I'll do whatever it takes to protect Emma, to keep her safe from the darkness that nearly swallowed us whole. I don't know if we'll ever truly escape the shadows of our past, but I know that we have to try. We can't let fear control us, can't let it keep us from living our lives. We have to find a way to move forward, to build something new, even if it's not the life we once dreamed of. As the last light fades from the sky, I feel a sense of calm settle over me. It's not peace, not really, but it's something close to it, a quiet acceptance of what's been lost, and a resolve to keep fighting for what's left. I know the road ahead won't be easy, that there will be more challenges, more trials to face, but I also know that we'll face them together, as a family, no matter what comes our way. The shadows of the past may still linger, but they don't have to define us. We can find a way to live with them, to move forward into whatever the future holds. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a way to leave the darkness behind and step into the light once more.